Yeah, I mean, how does it feel? You've left and the legacy is continuing. That's got to be cool. Like, nobody after we're done is going to pick up the poorly edited.
Right.
It's not a thing that's going to happen.
They're going to be like, oh, good. Thank God.
Chris is going to take the hard drive and throw it off.
I don't like to think of myself as like sort of the one in that sort of made it happen. I think a lot of people really made it happen.
So humble. So humble.
Humble brag, yeah.
What a great, did you prepare for this? You've answered everything so well. What's up, everybody? It's the Poorly Edited Podcast, the show where we put a spotlight on some of the most creative minds we can find, as best as a couple college kids can do.
Not very well.
Not very well. We're coming at you live from WXLV, the X, on LTRC's main campus. I'm Chandler Davis.
I'm Patrick Lilly.
My name's Storm Hutchinson. How are you doing?
Dude. That's Coffee Guy, actually.
Rest
it's not Storm. Rest in peace, Storm. Storm, we miss you. You are welcome back on the show anytime.
Except right now.
Except right now, because we're already started. And we got Josh Brennan on the camera, and we have a very special guest today.
Hi, I'm Steven.
Or what's your other name?
Or Steven John, or SJ, or whatever you come up with.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I'll work on it.
And
I'll see what I can do.
It's Patrick's birthday today. Everyone say happy birthday, Patrick.
Happy birthday.
All right, now we're all going to sing happy birthday. Happy
We're not doing this on air.
Well, sorry, Pat, I tried. Pat, you are named Patrick. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend. How many jokes have you heard about that so far?
Dude,
Really?
I was in an Irish pub yesterday for brunch, for
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day brunch, because my sister's birthday yesterday. Crazy, right?
What?
And I was talking to the cashier that is a gift shop attached to an Irish pub on St. Patrick's Day, and she asked what my name was, and I said Patrick, and nothing.
You like braced yourself? You're like, oh.
She's that, and she's like, what's your birth month? And I'm like, March. And she's like, whatever. And then I'm like, what?
I just hit the mic.
Like,
Pat, so your sister's born the day before you?
yeah, my brother's born the day
You guys
after.
are only one day
What?
apart.
Yeah.
His brother's born the day after him too.
Yep. 17th, 18th,
What?
and 19th of March.
That's not even possible.
But you're all different years, right?
Yeah, my sister turned 26. My brother turned 24. I just turned 21.
Ooh, the big 21. It's all not fun from here, I've heard. So I also just turned 21.
Resident old guy, it only gets worse from here.
Awesome.
21, you're like, yeah. 22, you're like, okay. And then 23, you're like, this isn't stopping, is it? It's not good. It's not
How
good
old
at
are
all.
you, Steven? And when's your birthday?
I'm 19, November 5th.
That's a pretty good one.
Nice. That's a good birthday.
Thank you.
So, Steven, you're part of the band Win or Lose. Am I right?
Yes, I'm the keyboard player.
That's fantastic. We found out about you guys when we went to Live at 13. You guys played a killer show.
Thank you.
You opened. That's a lot of pressure. That was a lot of pressure.
You also had an instrumental song, which I don't think there was another
Hey, we're
instrumental
gonna
song.
talk about
All
that
right,
later.
I'm sorry.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We gotta fill an hour here, guys.
Our drummer had a connection with one of the bands. We're from Antarctica, and he'd been talking about playing it Live at 13 for a while. I never had gotten a chance to go, so I was really excited to go and check it out. They were really great to us. It was really fun to be there, and just to happen to have it be the day that it was apparently the most visited it ever was really nice touch.
Big facts. You guys did a great job. I
Thank
think.
you.
Yeah. And you guys were very different in a good way, as like measured up to all the other bands there. You guys brought it was a bit funky. It was a larger,
that's kind of what we're going for.
a larger band as well. You guys also had a lot of focus on your instrumentals, which I thought was interesting. Just you did play an instrumental song, but also just instrumentally every song I felt like was very strong as well.
Thank you.
And I personally, don't tell the rest of your band this, but I loved your keyboard playing. I think you did a great job. Everyone else did a great job too, but you did a very great job.
Chandler and I are big fans of the piano. That's like our favorite instrument.
I'm going to assume that's not just because I'm on the podcast.
No, it's not.
Remember
We almost
They were so excited they almost headbutted each other to say it's not.
I'm a guitarist who doesn't even like the guitar. Like
Nice.
the piano is my favorite instrument by
Hates
far.
it, dude. So how do you feel about how keyboardists are portrayed in like bigger rock bands?
I mean, they definitely aren't at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they really should be. I mean,
Okay.
there's
in the
definitely
fore-
some bands where they should
Okay.
be, but like I get why in terms of like just like your typical like classic rock band,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always at the front.
I've noticed that though. Is that if a band's around long enough, eventually they just pick up a keyboard player?
Yeah.
Like inevitably.
It's
know
such
what
a
it is.
versatile instrument.
It's
Like
true.
there's so much you can do with it.
Yeah,
That's probably why.
definitely. I feel like every band could use a keyboard. I just don't feel like it's like it's hard to be a front man when you're the keyboard player,
I have the
when you're
answer for
sitting
that.
there.
The keytar. Yeah. I saw one at a Front Bottoms concert. It changed my life.
Nice.
I've been
was
looking.
amazing.
I'm been looking to get a keytar
Really?
for a while. I can't figure out how I would play it without looking like a nerd.
Dude, this dude did it. I don't know
that
how.
just happened.
Zach just spit his gum out onto me when he laughed.
Oh,
so,
thank God this isn't a video podcast.
that's it.
That'd be horrible.
I want you to do a really hard close up on that when it happens, and do a tracking slow mo shot.
Put a red circle around.
Yeah,
it.
yeah, just
not happening.
and that'll be the thumbnail. So.
Great talk.
Get another visual gag.
So yeah, for all the listeners. So you're going to play the keytar to try to segue into the guitar, perhaps? Is that like a middleman there?
I don't think so. I mean, I know a little bit of guitar. I'm nowhere near our guitarist, Ed. In all
Well, he's in the
honesty.
other room. Isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and I'll give him his. There's things to say about him, but
Okay, wow. All right, a little tension
but
here.
no, everybody in the band is amazing at their own instrument. We switch around every once in a while, but everyone's really good at what they do, and I'm not looking to switch anytime soon.
That's good. It's a good dynamic to have.
Yeah,
I'm looking to get out of this podcast then anytime soon. It's too much work, and I'm bad at my job. And I spit my gum out at Chandler.
That's true. He's fired. So I've heard a lot of people say that the piano, if you learn the piano, it can be the easiest groundwork to learn pretty much anything musically after that because of just the nature of that instrument. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so because it's so easy to visualize everything on the piano. Like a lot of people say if you're going to be like a songwriter, for example, you want to either work with the piano or the guitar because those are sort of the two instruments that have the most range. Yeah. But even on a guitar, it's sometimes harder to visualize sort of the scales going up and down. The piano is just everything's laid out in a straight line right in front of you. So it's really easy to learn concepts that you can then apply to other instruments. And like I'm mostly a piano player. Like I said, I'm not really a guitar player or bass player, but like just from the stuff I known from the piano, I was one time I had to teach somebody how to play the bass for a concert, and I'm not really even a bass player, and I was able to do that just from what I knew from the piano and just learning how to read tabs then on top of that. So it definitely is, I think, the best instrument to sort of start from if you don't have anything specific you want to learn in music.
That's awesome. That's good news. I was trying to learn the piano, and it's very hard, and I don't have time, and I gave up. So that's good to hear, though, that if I would have stuck with it, I'd probably be very good at music by now. So my next question, win or lose, which do you choose?
It's a tough choice. I like to lean towards win.
Okay.
I like
okay.
win. Yeah.
Bold.
Okay,
I like it.
bold, a bold answer.
We like to set our expectations high.
So you're pretty sure of yourself.
At times.
How did you come up with that?
Yeah.
What was there's some duality there.
There's the duality
Yeah.
of man, sir.
Well, basically, what we try to do with the band is we, like you said, we kind of have a little bit of a different approach to the type of music we play. We were never really sure that the type of stuff that we knew we wanted to play was stuff that people were going to be receptive of, but we knew we wanted to play it. So the idea behind the name was kind of like, we're going in and we're just going to do what we want to do one way or the other, whether it works out commercially or not. That's sort of where the idea for the name came from.
That's actually a really good story.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Most band name stories aren't actually interesting, but like they say they're interesting because they're in that band. But that's actually cool.
I like Dave Grohl talking about Foo Fighters because he doesn't like the name really.
Yeah.
He's like, if I could do it all again, I'd change the name.
Yeah.
But, we're kind of stuck here, so.
I always love those. Those are probably my favorite answers whenever that's asked about anything with names. It's like, yeah, I actually hate it, but it caught on and now it's over. So like, I can't do anything about it.
I'm like 9 albums in.
Yeah, it's like.
Would you
Really
change our
too late.
name?
The Poorly
If you
Edited
could?
Podcast?
Yeah.
I thought about that recently, actually.
I didn't like it at first, if you remember.
I think here's what I will say. I think a lot of other people like the name more than I do, for sure. So with that being said, I guess I wouldn't change the name because a lot of people think it's funny or something. But like, I personally am not that crazy about it.
Were there other names you guys thought about, just out of curiosity? Because I know we went through so many other names before we got to ours.
Thank you so much for asking a question. Nobody asks about me.
Yeah, let's talk about you. How do you feel?
now?
I don't remember. I mean, I wasn't around at the very beginning,
true,
but
that's true.
I don't know if we had a discussion at one point about maybe changing it since it was so early on.
It was kind of just a thing, like, because Storm had the poorly edited vlogs, and he kind of like commandeered the naming because here was I had gone through so much naming stuff. Like, naming stuff is terrible, awful. It takes forever. I was like, dude. Yeah, I was like, dude, I've done it so much. I don't want to do it for this. Just you come up with a name. I don't care. Just do it. And that was what he came up with. So I gave him free reign there, and he kind of took. It is the most Storm. He was our old co-host. For those of you who don't know, that's still like the remnant of him in the show because that was like his name.
I like that.
Yeah. So we'll keep it. You know, that's the only thing we have to remember him by. Yeah, in memoriam. But Lab 212 I came up with, at least partially, which is why that's bad.
You read a sign.
Yeah, exactly. It was more just like connecting the dots rather than coming up with something, you know?
How can you approach me with that name? Because you're really sure I was going to say something about it, like not be a fan. I could feel it
I was scared.
from the way you talk.
And what do you think of it?
It's all right.
Glad we're having this conversation now.
Well, you know, at Lab 212 we choose win as well. Thank you for having such a good story behind your name.
Official company stance.
So you guys played a show last night?
Yeah, it was a very last minute thing. We played down at the Wooden Match at their open mic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it went really well. It was a lot to put a show to be ready for a show like that because we decided like around noon that day that we were gonna play. So
It's a bit short notice.
yeah, it was a little bit short notice, but they seemed pretty receptive of it. We were pretty happy with how it went out. And the other bands that were there were fantastic too. So it was really a great experience to get to play with them, especially when you weren't expecting to.
Mm-hmm. So your bandmates, like your whole band
Yeah.
last night, and how many members are there?
There's 5 of us.
So that's pretty. That's pretty cool that you guys managed to. You're all so hungry to do stuff like that you're on the drop of a hat. You'll all come out, and it's usually pretty hard to coordinate. A large group like that.
Yeah, like I said, everyone in the band is very dedicated individually to their own instruments, and they're like. Our guitarist Ed was telling me recently that he had to go get his guitar repaired. He took it to a workshop, and they told him that he had played his guitar so much he actually wore down the frets on his guitar with his fingers, and he had to get the whole fretboard replaced. Yeah, so everyone in the band is very dedicated to their own instruments and loves the music that we play. So whenever we get a chance to play, if it's at all possible, we're like, let's do it. Let's get going.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. It seems like you guys. I mean, I've talked to people before who like they're in bands. I feel like some of them are in bands because they like being in a band. They like the feeling of like, oh, I'm in a band. But you guys sound like you just really love playing music, and like that's your primary motivator for everything, which is really cool.
Yeah, we've played together in a bunch of groups with each other before. Some of us more than others, but we've always been sort of looking for a long time for a group where we can sort of just like play the music that we've been waiting to play. And now that we have that and we've got a process where we can write stuff and get it out there and get playing, it's just we don't want to stop.
Right. That's awesome. Now you guys do a cover of Shallows. Is that true?
Shallow, yeah, from Star is Born.
Amras Farrow wrote it wrong on our script, so
Yeah.
that's not my
That was a
fault.
good movie, though.
Yeah, did you like that movie? Is that why you're playing the music now?
It was a suggestion from our singer and our guitarist. I have not seen the movie actually, but I love the song. I think it's a really beautiful song, really beautiful duet. And we weren't originally going to do it as a duet, but when we played it at a show the other night, but last minute we decided, hey, it might be cool to do this as a duet. People might like that, and it just kind of happened, and it went really well. And it's a really fun song to play.
Seems like it's a fun song to listen to.
Yeah.
I know nothing about playing it, but I liked it in the movie a lot. I listened to the soundtrack quite a bit, and I hope more people cover that song. I wouldn't mind hearing that song more every
If you're
year.
out there.
If you're out there.
All right, we're gonna break
Official
real quick.
endorsement. Shallow.
We're going to break after I pause Spotify. That's still going.
Oh my God.
All right, yeah. We'll be right back.
Pat's first day on the job.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
And we're back with the lead keyboardist and only keyboardist of Win or Lose.
Stephen, John, Jake, Paul, Pat.
Ringo.
Oh,
I was just watching. I watched the YouTube video for Day Tripper. Wait, what was it? I think it was Day Tripper. The music video for it, and there's literally it's them in a garden, and they're all playing their instruments except Ringo because they're like moving
No
around.
drums in the song.
Yeah. So Ringo's just sitting on the ground in the foreground with the rest of them playing their instruments behind him.
And he's sitting like Indian style, and he's just like
And he just
staring
looks
at
like
the
he
ground.
doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, he's just sad. And I'm like,
It's
why'd
really
they do
funny.
that to him?
Yeah.
Just not.
They're like punishing him for something.
So, you did an instrumental, as we mentioned earlier, when you were at Live at 13. Was that something that is the byproduct of you guys being so in love with your instruments and the musical composition of things that you wanted to have a song that just only featured that at the forefront of things? Or, what was because I mean, you were the only ones that played an instrumental, I think, all night. I just thought it was a really interesting choice to have that in your set list.
Well, that's actually a byproduct of sort of how the band first started getting going, because originally it was just the four of us, drums, guitar, piano, and bass. We originally started off as an instrumental group. Our singer joined. We all played together, including our singer, in a group of four, but she didn't come join the band until a couple months after we got going. So when we first started off, we were writing instrumental pieces. And then once she joined, our songwriting started taking a very different direction, and all the songs we had written started changing very drastically as we added lyrics to them. But the process that we use to write a song, because of that, sort of starts off really focused on the instrumentals, and then lyrics sort of get added as we develop the songs. So the song that we played that was an instrumental is actually one that will most likely eventually have lyrics. But it's songs that are sort of in different stages of development. And what's really cool about that, the way we write songs, is that we sort of finish the instruments first, and until we finish the lyrics, it's pretty much performance ready as an instrumental song, just sort of because of how we learned how to write songs. So it sort of gives us like a 2-in-1 where we can just sort of play things at different stages of development and show people different versions of the same thing.
yeah. It's always interesting hearing different bands and what the writing process is like whether lyrics come first or whatnot. Do you plan on still keeping some instrumentals in, or will they all eventually have lyrics?
We'll probably keep some instrumentals every once in a while. We do one or two covers that are instrumentals. One of our favorites to do is Soul Sacrifice by Santana, which is one that we like to come back to often. But generally, a lot of the stuff we write will eventually have lyrics, just mostly because we're, like we said, everyone in our band is really dedicated to their instrument, and our vocalist, just as much as anyone else, is very talented, and we like to show that off as much as we like to show off the rest of the band.
Speaking of the band, how'd you guys what started this phenomenon known as Win or Lose?
The phenomenon that's sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
We met about 3 years ago. I started out of my high school a program alongside an organization called Bethlehem Sound, which is a music studio, which is a really phenomenal organization to get involved with. They do a lot to help high school kids get involved in music and stuff. And we started a program that was sort of like a rock band, a rock funk band that sort of let high school kids integrate themselves and get used to sort of the performance side of the music industry. Sort of get involved, play around the community, get involved to help raise some money for charities through performance, things like that. And it was a program that I started alongside Bethlehem Sound. And as it got going, I think our bass player was in it when we first started. And then eventually our drummer, our guitarist, and then later our vocalist all joined the program. And it's in that program that we sort of learned to play together. We sort of started to combine and mix and overlap our styles because we all came from very different backgrounds in terms of styles and genres of music that we like. And we sort of learned how each other played, what we like to do, how we like to interact when we were on stage. And by the time we started graduating out of that program, we realized that we didn't want to stop playing with each other. So we decided to start our own band, and it just sort of developed from there, and it became what it is now over time, and it took off very quickly because at that point we had been playing together for 2-3 years, and we had just gotten so used to how each other played and sort of how we traded off, and it just clicked.
That's a lot of information to chew on. So you said, let's back it up a little bit. You said about Bethlehem Sound, and that sounds pretty interesting. What is that? What's more about that organization?
Bethlehem Sound is a program. It's based out of Liberty High School, and it's a program that's all about getting kids, like teaching high school kids how to work in the music industry, in terms of working in a music studio, in terms of mixing, recording your own stuff, other people's stuff. At Liberty High School, they have which is the high school that we all went to. They actually have a full in-house music studio that this program is based out of, and it works in conjunction with other music studios in the area. And they really produce some phenomenal work, like not what you would expect to come out of a high school. It sounds very professional, and it was in conjunction with that studio, because there was that in-house studio that was ready to just go and produce music and like run a studio, where it was very easy to just say, okay, well now let's add the other half. Let's have an in-house band as well, to just sort of mirror that pretty perfectly, and it all just clicked. And it's a fantastic organization for anyone in the community that like wants to have involvement with the music industry.
And so you ran that yourself? You founded and ran that?
I didn't found Bethlehem Sound. I founded the band side of the program, which is called Liberty Jams.
Okay.
But they worked sort of in tandem with Bethlehem Sound. I was the founder and president of Liberty Jams for the first 2 years. And then when I graduated, our guitarist, who's now a senior in high school, has taken over as the president this year. That's run. The Bethlehem Sound is run by a man named Mr. Treeweek, who is a sort of the in-house mixer, studio manager, and everything, and who sort of helped us build the program, and is still involved with it now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
That sounds like a really. I mean, like my high school we had football and we had drama club, and if you liked anything other than that, you're pretty much dead in the water. So I think it's really cool to have programs like that at a high school level.
Yeah. I remember when I first walked into the studio, it's like not what they have a full vocal booth, like mixing boards, like in-house instruments, like guitars, a full drum set, They have Logic Pro set up on all the computers. It's
Have the rapper Logic
yeah.
in studio.
He just comes in and it's like, sounds great, dog.
It's great, guys.
Awesome. And he just leaves. That's what he does there. And he's like, please listen to my next album. But no, that sounds like a program like that rivals, if not surpasses, what a lot of colleges have. So like, that's really amazing to have the opportunity to utilize things like that. Now, are those programs like, would you say Liberty Jams and Bethlehem Sound, is there a lot of interest there with the student body?
From the people that care about music and that type of performance, there definitely is. Pretty much what it is when we first founded it, one of the things about Liberty Jams, at least, was, in a high school you have your marching band, you have your orchestra, you have your choir, but there was sort of a gap in terms of people that were interested in rock, in funk, in punk, in R&B, in pop music, where you didn't really have an avenue to go to sort of play that type of music at a school if you weren't like a classical musician or a marching band musician. So for the people that were really waiting for a chance to sort of play that type of music, there's definitely an interest. It was kind of hard, especially at first and in booking shows, to get people to understand sort of what the program was, the legitimacy of the program, because when people hear, a high school group, they immediately assume like, oh, we're talking about a marching band with a group of trumpets and a couple drum, which is I'm not bashing marching bands, they're fantastic, but when we would try to book shows, I remember one time we had a show where they said, okay, we're going to give you half an hour to come in, set up, play your set, and then take down and leave. We're like, we have 2 truckfuls of equipment we need to set up. But yeah, for the people that knew what it was and knew what they wanted, there was definitely a good amount of interest. And I say there still is.
That's awesome. I think it's odd to me that something like that isn't more widely done in schools, because like you said, there definitely is a gap there. It's kind of like, where are the jams at? Like there's
it's not like the 80s anymore where it's like, dude, rock music's like so rebellious. It's
like
kind of ingrained into society now. It's just kind of everywhere.
And so why should having a rock band be this thing that you have to meet up after school with in someone's garage and have it be like this underground thing? Like, why isn't it standardized, as a program? Like, so I think that's like the fact that it is kind of revolutionary is almost like disappointing in a sense, because it's like, why is this not done more? I
definitely see what you mean. Yeah. It's, like I said, the person I worked with to run it, Tim Treeweek, him and I both definitely share that opinion that it definitely should be a more standard thing, and it's making progress towards being sort of an accepted part of the just a normal part of the music community at that school. I think they actually Bethlehem Sound recently at another studio they were taken, and there was a local band that came in, and just for practice they agreed to let Bethlehem Sound students mix their an unreleased track of theirs they weren't planning on releasing, just sort of to help educate them. And apparently they liked the mixing so much they decided to release it as a single.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So it's definitely a program that does really good work.
Yeah. Well, when you give, and every time, like we've been doing this show for a while, and we've encountered this so much. It's like when you give people the opportunities and the tools to make amazing things, like they do not disappoint, and that's why it's so important for programs like Liberty Jams.
Liberty Jams, yeah.
Sorry. I almost said Liberty Sound, and I was like, I don't know.
It's half and half.
Yeah. That's why it's so important for programs like that, because if you build it, they will come, and it's very... No, but it's like without that interest and without some individuals saying, no, there is we need to support this, you wouldn't have all this great material that comes from it, And you guys work with charities as well for that?
We've done in that while we were a part of those programs, and now too as we try to book gigs, we like to support local charities when we can get involved with them. We've played shows at Minithon and other like cancer research events. We've played with Cops and Kids, which is another fantastic charity that gets books to younger children that can't afford them, especially in like disaster areas. A lot of times, groups like that, whenever we can use our shows to sort of raise money for a good cause, we like to get involved with that.
That's awesome.
On that note, we're gonna go to a break.
That was so weird.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, please.
This podcast is sponsored by Relevant, a location-based mobile network personalized by your interests. Customize your news feed to consolidate all the information you care about all in one place to quickly and easily find what's relevant to you. Find out what's going on in your local area and reach your community from the palm of your hand. Relevant is available on iOS and coming soon to Android. Be the first to know with Relevant.
And we're back.
I was excited. I'm like, let's do it. Let's go.
Powering up.
Zach's trying to start a fire in the studio.
I have a question. When you first started Liberty Jams, how much pushback was there, considering it was such a weird and unique kind of idea?
Was there
from
a
the
principal who's like not on board, like a crotchety old principal who's like, rock music's never going to catch on, even though it's like 2019?
It's like Footloose.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't answer that question because I never know who's going to end up listening to this podcast.
Oh, nobody.
Ooh, that's juicy.
That's really all you need to
all
say.
the bridges you can in 1 hour. So.
That's another show. It's the Bridge Burning Podcast.
Yeah. What I'll say was we were excited about the fact that there were people who accepted it a lot more than we would have expected them to. And I'll leave it at that.
You can also just
That's
refer
awesome.
to the pushback as the man. If that helps at all with anonymity.
Everyone loves that. I always love a good man speech. Well, yeah, I mean, that really answered that question, I think. But if you're listening, he won. So, no.
Well, yeah, I mean, how does it feel? You've left and the legacy is
Yeah.
continuing. That's got to be cool. Like, nobody after we're done is going to pick up the poorly edited.
Right.
Not a thing that's going to
They're going to be
happen.
like, oh, thank God.
Chris is
when
gonna,
it's
Chris
over.
is going to take the hard drive and throw it off a cliff.
I don't like to think of myself as like sort of the one in that sort of made it happen. I think a lot of people really made it happen.
So humble. So humble.
Humble brag. Yeah.
What a great. Did you prepare for this? You've answered everything so well. It's amazing.
No, just
It's the reason he's the one doing the show and not somebody else, I think.
no, I don't like to think of myself as the person that really made it happen because there was really a lot of really amazing people that were and still are involved in that program. And I'm just really proud of the stuff that's come out of that program. And there's definitely hardships. There's definitely struggles. It's hard to figure out just how to even run a program like that in the first place because you're bringing in what you get with something like that is you get so many different people that come from so many different styles and ideas and thoughts about what they want to do and what they want to play and how something like that should be done. But when it comes together, it really does just come together perfectly.
It sounds like it could have been easy to get overwhelmed. Was there a moment where you're like, what have I done?
Yeah, there definitely was a couple of those. I would say for the first 6 months that we were running the program, pretty much nothing happened.
Yeah.
When we first started the program, on the first day at the first meeting, we had about 45 people show up saying they wanted to sign up. About a week and a half in, we had about 7 people. So there was definitely some moments where it's like, okay, maybe this is going to be a little harder than we thought. But eventually we got a good group of people coming in a couple months after we started, which included the drummer and the guitarist from Win or Lose, Lewis and Ed, joined, and we already had Devin in the band and a couple other people. Jordan, our singer, joined a little bit later, but once we got sort of a core sort of instrumental group and a couple real good singers, then we really were able to start making a lot more headway. And by the end of the year, we were doing shows, and we were well on our way.
The oh no, what have I done moment here at the Poorly Edited Podcast happens every Monday at 4 p.m. So, and it lasts for about an hour.
We're usually like 4:01 when our rerun has started, and we're late.
Yeah, like today. So.
For me, it's at 3:45. We're behind every bus in the Lehigh Valley on the way here.
I hate it when that happens. It's okay. You can be late for your birthday.
Yeah.
You get a birthday
I get
late.
this one.
Yeah, this one. So what are you doing? It seems like, I mean, you did a lot in high school. You were really blazing a trail there. What have you moved on to now? Are you going to college? Are you, what's up?
Are we talking about me individually, or are we talking about the band?
Dude, whoever you want it to mean. You know?
Well, the
world
band
is your oyster.
Don't let the man get you down,
Don't
dude.
let the man
yeah,
tell
the
you.
man, you know.
Answer whatever question you want. It's fine.
That was a good question, but I'm going to answer a totally different question. No. Well, the band right now, the past couple of months, we've been working on recording an album. Our first album we're hoping to have come out around the start of summer, if everything goes well, tentatively titled From the Top, which is sort of indirectly a story sort of about someone realizing that that they don't really like what their life is, and sort of learning how to sort of break out of, you know, toxic relationships and like trapped environments, and sort of just becoming who they want to be.
Is that you talking to the band, telling them that you don't want to play with them anymore, or is that like...
Again, I don't know who's listening, so I don't want to. No.
They're right outside. These walls are paper thick.
No, the band, we've been working really hard on this, and we're really proud of the stuff that we're coming out with, and we're really excited for people to hear what we've got going on. We've been spending probably about a year now just working on this album. We're going to spend another couple months on it still, and we're really proud of it. It's sort of like what everything we've been doing so far has been building up to.
Where are you guys recording?
We're actually we got in contact with Bethlehem Sound, actually. There you go. Yeah, and we've started working with them. We're gonna see if we branch off and do some more editing and mixing and stuff at some other places. But we've been getting really fantastic results with what we've been doing with them so far, and we're really proud of the direction it's going in.
Pretty awesome. I definitely saw that coming.
If I didn't drop enough hints for that.
Yeah. The breadcrumb trail leading to that. So how far along is that album? What kind of details can you spill? How many songs?
I don't know what the band wants me to say. But
they can't hear you.
Yeah,
I know what I just said earlier, but I take it back.
The paper thin walls.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
We've got 5 songs mostly recorded right now. We're looking to do maybe 2 or 3 more before it comes out. The final number isn't set because we're still every week we're coming up with new stuff. Then we're like, oh, let's add this, oh, let's add that, and it's kind of that thing where once you start, you never really end. So eventually, we'll see where we cut ourselves off and say like that's enough. But some of the enough till the next one, you know. But
I was gonna. That's what we should really try to do. Yeah. We should just figure out. Yeah, it's we hit 60. Our 65th episode came out today. It's a pretty good round number. I don't know.
That is pretty good.
We have a bunch recorded though,
and then we have to record a few more to get to 70, and then round that out.
By the time you get to there, you might as well do a couple more.
Yeah, it's like, well, we might as well do 100, round that out. Yeah, it's just this whole thing. It's terrible. You're just gunning for this episode to go up. That's why you're trying to encourage us.
Some ulterior motives.
Yeah, there's some ulterior. So what do you do when you're not dedicating all of the time in your day apparently to making music or
fretboards
or learning fretboard. What else do you do? Have any other passions and hobbies?
Well, for me, I live in Philly right now. I go to school in Philly.
Did you drive all the way here from Philly?
I travel back and forth on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I go to school in Philly. So a lot of my time that's not my free time spent on the band is mostly schoolwork.
What are you studying?
I'm undecided right now. I'm in a interdisciplinary program that sort of is lets you try out a couple different fields, sort of see how they overlap, try to work with some other people in similar fields to try to come up with some unique approaches to things. So,
I mean, I have a suggestion. Have you ever considered a career in music? Perhaps maybe majoring in a music field.
Yeah. I'm probably the only person in the band that's not like gonna make their major something in music. I'm looking to do like a minor in music. I'm pretty sure in. Everyone else in the band is pretty set on majoring in music.
Oh, okay. So you're like 1 foot out the door at all times.
Yeah,
just like
I'm always
waiting.
ready to take off the first sign of trouble.
I mean, I've never been to a concert and a band walks up on stage and like, all right, just so you know, we all have majors in music. Like, wow, these guys are good.
Wow, it sounds better now.
This sounds like college degree.
So it's sort of a placebo thing. You know, you say it enough and they're like, oh, this must be good.
Yeah.
I did have somebody once tell me, you have to listen to me. I have a music degree. And I'm like,
Really?
We're going to do a break.
We don't have a music degrey, and that's why we're going to a break.
Yeah, I've got a break degree. And we're back. The Polar Podcast.
I was just gonna
It's
say
my
that.
birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
hey.
Dude, also, yesterday in that Irish pub, there was an actual man from Ireland. So I'm assuming from his accent, sat down behind us and said the words,
Do it in the accent.
no, that would be terrible. He said, there's a menu item called the Padawak. So he sat down and he's like, can I have a Padawak, please, in an Irish accent, and made my day. And then immediately following that, he'd sold about a 5-minute joke that me and my entire family was eavesdropping on.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, the waitress
That
came up
had
and
to have
handed
been
us our check
conspicuous.
at, no, we were real subtle about it. I mean, he was like literally right next to us. But
You're all just like,
then the waitress came over and handed us our check as the punchline happened, so we don't know what the punchline was. So we listened to the longest build-up ever, and we don't know what the payoff was.
you
But
should
no
just
one
ask
laughed
him. I would have
anyway.
asked him.
I'm not doing- that's creepy then. Send that.
Hey, I was listening to that joke you weren't telling to me.
It's not creepy unless he knows we were being creepy.
That's true. That is true. Is it weird to say I kind of feel bad that was the high point of your day when that guy
was pretty
ordered
good.
something off of his menu?
It was a weird thing. Because then we like went down. It was like got there at like 9 a.m. and
Wow.
we finished eating at like 10:30, and then we went downstairs and there was just a bunch of people drinking at the bar at like 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, this
Nice.
is pretty sweet.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
dude.
St.
I'm
Patrick's
sure they're there all the other time, but
Yeah.
that day it's okay. They have the one pass.
Pat's hierarchy of standards is much different than the rest of ours.
That's true.
In what way?
Hey, you're
What?
21 now.
I am.
You'll
I can
be
go
there.
Drink at 10:30.
Yeah, you'll be there.
Don't recommend that.
No. Is that a bad path?
Are you only gonna go? Are you only gonna go objectively?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably. Are you only gonna go to Irish pubs now? Is that like a
No.
rule or something?
No, just my sister wanted to go there for St. Patrick's Day and her birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I had a full Irish breakfast, which was kind of cool.
What's that?
It's got like black pudding and white pudding
Ew.
and eggs and a bunch of random Irish breakfast meats. It's pretty good though.
Just various.
Various,
like,
yeah.
They're not even from animals. They're just,
No, just-
unknown meats. Just created by Ireland.
How'd you guys celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Did you do
I
anything?
know. No, I have no Irish blood that I know of in my veins.
That doesn't stop most people.
I know. Like my dad went out for St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, you're not Irish. I don't know what you. I mean, like I get it. I get the festivities and stuff. I think it's cool to be like, I don't know, because some people, is it offensive if you're not Irish to like, it's like, I don't know.
So I mean, like I have Irish heritage, but if I like,
it's
that
fine
only
for
works
you.
here. If I go to Ireland and be like, hey, I'm from here, they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to fly here. You're not from here. So I try to avoid going around and be like, dude, I'm so Irish because I don't really know anything about Ireland.
To be fair though, that is like the most of your genetics, isn't it?
It is, but
yeah.
What is it? I don't know. I've lived here my entire life. So if I asked like 4 generations of my family. So
see, I'm like a mutt. You know, like there's so much that it's like I'm not really from anywhere at this point. Kind of. Zach, what are you? What's going on with you?
Not important. Storm Hutchinson.
You're Irish?
No, I'm a German, and I think I have some Czech in me.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. Thanks.
What about you, Stephen John?
I've got a mix of Greek and a little bit of Slovak and some other places around that area.
Greek's a good one.
Yeah.
Very good genes.
So that's top tier.
Very fit. Very fit. Top tier.
Yes. Are we gonna tier nationalities now? It seems like a bad way to go.
Look at the nationality tier list. We're about to end our careers. I don't know where to go.
Olive oil.
I don't know how to recover. Oh, that was definitely not the move. Saying there was olive oil fall in that conversation is definitely not the way that should have gone.
Pat, what do you want to do tonight for your birthday? Because it's your actual birthday today, right?
So last night we celebrated in the morning for my sister's birthday, and then we all just like hanging out. So then she ordered Italian food from the worst Italian place I've ever eaten at. Literally, my little sister left the meal halfway to go upstairs and start vomiting. Because of like food poisoning or something. I don't know why. So then we were eating the rest of the food while listening to her vomit upstairs.
And you guys were all like, this is a good idea. We should keep eating.
So now my dad's like, we should have just gone to this place, which is like an actually good Italian restaurant. So that's where I'm going tonight.
Captain Hindsight.
Yeah.
To the rescue.
So I'll be at Geo Italian Grill tonight if you want to come and buy me food.
Dude, we're
or
live.
something.
They're gonna swarm you at your birthday dinner. What are you doing tonight?
Yeah,
do you want to go with? We're gonna also crash his birthday dinner. Do you want to come with?
We're not invited. So.
Yeah, we're not invited.
I don't know. It's a Monday. What are doing on a Monday?
Yeah, that's how I felt. I'm like, wow, I'll see my 21st birthday's coming up on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's pretty lit, dude.
We were going to go get a drink at midnight last night, and then we're like, no bars open. Yeah. It's a Sunday night, and no one open into Monday. So our only options are really terrible places that...
Like Applebee's, which no one wants to eat at ever.
Actually, the Applebee's near me currently, the... first half of Apple's gone, so it just says Les Bees.
It
so
does.
It's almost
Les Bees.
It's almost a French restaurant.
Yeah. I saw that. So, I also know that apparently, even if you turn 21 and it's like midnight of the day you turn 21, some bartenders will still be like, no.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's what Lizzie said. She's a bartender, so she must know, right?
Yeah.
They all talk. They have like a group chat or something, I would assume.
The bartender group chat.
Steven, what are your plans for Win or Lose coming up? You're working on an album. What else do you got coming up? Any other projects you're excited about or doing?
We're really just trying to get the name out there. We're still, it's
Win
still
or
like
lose?
the end of our Win or Lose. Get the name out there. Name. Yeah, we're still sort of like coming to the end of our first year, really, with this specific band. So we're really trying to get out, play as much as possible, meet as many other bands as possible, and make as good of an album as possible. So once this album comes out is when we're really going to figure out, okay, where do we want to go next from here? But we're sort of pouring everything we have into this and sort of preparing for this to come out.
Do you have any like band-wide influences on your music that's been noticeable, or like is it just kind of everyone's like influences kind of mushed together into your sound?
It really was kind of we all came from very different backgrounds. I grew up sort of on like classic rock and jazz. Our guitarist was a lot more like funk. Our bass player was sort of like a prog metal kind of guy. Our singer was more of a soul singer, and our drummer was more like into punk rock kind of stuff. So it's really just like,
So no similarity.
yeah,
Kind
no,
of
like
a-
very little overlap, but it's really weird how like as we've come together, we've sort of all like shown off our own individual interests, and the rest of the band sort of like picks up on, oh, that part of that is really cool. We can like sort of pull an influence from that and sort of, or we can try to combine this style and sort of see what it comes to. And it really has led to a very interesting set of sounds that we're progressively becoming more and more proud of.
It is cool how I feel like any genre of music can be mixed with any genre of music, and if done the right way, it still sounds good.
Yeah. I think it's cool that you guys all have such drastically different influences from all over the place, but you come together and you use that as a strength rather than a point of contention for each other, where it's like, but I want to play it and have it sound like this, you know, like that doesn't seem to be a thing for you. It's just about playing music that's good.
Yeah, I was really surprised that and happy that it worked out that way, because when we were first starting off, that was definitely a concern that we had, like, you know, are we going to hit points of tension where, you know, we sort of want to go in different directions. And I mean, I'm not going to say that there's not times where we have different ideas for how songs should sound, but, you know, in the end, we always seem to find something that we can all say we really enjoy, which is probably what I'm most proud of with the group as a whole. We sort of have that unique sound that we can, you know, distinguish ourselves with.
Yeah. I've seen bands die on the hill of like delineating on like, their sound is too pop punk instead of just normal punk for some side. It's like, dude, chill out, please. Like,
They'll make a song and then they just won't release it.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like not what they want it to be.
yeah.
It's like,
It's like, dude, it's good.
just put it
Like,
out
if
there.
it's good, it's good.
no one
Don't-
like, I'm sure like the one metalhead's gonna be like, no, you're ruining your sound. You're selling out for this one song you made. But like, that sounds like I'm discriminating against metalheads. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Sorry.
It's weird that bands have that mentality, because I dropped that like genre thing when I started playing music, because I realized it doesn't matter. It's just what sounds good matters. So it's very odd. But that's a hill people die on.
It's a great saying. Yeah. It's one of our favorite phrases.
One of your favorite phrases.
Hey, no, don't do that
Are
to
you
me
going
on
to die
air.
on this hill right now?
Oh. Steven, win or lose, I hope you win.
Thank you.
Do you have any places you like?
Are there any
people to-
hills you'd
Are
like
there,
to
are there any hills you'll be playing on soon? Any upcoming gigs or anything you want to
Any
tell people about?
hills? Gigs for us happen very last
At
minute.
noon.
Yeah, pretty much
That
noon
day.
the day of. So pretty much like, you want to know when we're playing, like just
Hack your
Instagram,
Google Calendar?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Instagram, pretty much like Twitter, Facebook. We'll be
And,
like, hey, tonight, show.
Tonight, you.
Yeah, you.
Be there.
Specifically you.
Win or lose. Is your handle just win or lose, or like win or lose band? Or
Yeah.
Say handle.
your Twitter handle. Is this the hill you're
You're,
gonna die on?
you're dating us right now. All right.
Why?
They're young. Win or lose is a bunch of young
what's your
bucks
gamer
on the
tag
scene.
on Twitter?
Oh,
Your gamer tag.
yeah, it's just win or lose band.
Okay.
But I think you type in win or lose, it comes up.
Is there another win or lose that you were competing with? You had to delineate your band.
Not that I know of. I sure hope not.
There's like a
That'd
bakery.
that'd be a bad thing to find out a year in.
Yeah.
That the
yeah.
name's taken.
Well, it'd be like a Foo Fighter situation.
Yeah, I think that's
you
what he
know?
wanted to change it to, win or lose. I think the Foo
He wanted
Fighters,
to change it to, yeah, probably. I think
Bill's
that's
like,
what
"This is
he
great
we stole
idea."
it from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you like type into YouTube. He's like, "Oh, I can't do it.
said. Sounds pretty good though.
Would you like to shout anything out, Chandler?
Sly Elliott on everything. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Twitch, sometimes if Pat streams, actually. We were streaming Undertale last week. We might stream Undertale tomorrow. I don't know. Sure, whatever. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so keep your eyes out for that.
Check out on our YouTube channel, The Show with No Points, starring Josh Brennan. It's his show. I love it so much. It's so funny, man. Yeah, definitely check that out. We have a bunch of new weird content, and if you haven't checked it out, you got to check it out.
Yeah, the first show on the channel to feature dads. So, I mean, that's amazing. It's an amazing first, and we're really happy to have that in our program.
Would you like to shout out your dad, Steven?
Yeah, shout out to my dad. Dad, if you're listening, hi, Dad.
you have anyone else you want to shout out?
Yeah, my mom. Hi, mom.
Gotta get the whole spectrum there.
What about your bandmates?
Yeah, what about your bandmates?
Yeah,
that was important.
Yeah, you can check out
Their names are right here. I have their names.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you remind me real quick? I don't remember. Ed Velasco, Jordan Smith, Devin Wachter. And,
I saw you glance.
Yeah, just in case. You never know.
It was for the order. He didn't know what order.
Yeah. And Louis Gentile. They're all, like I said, fantastic at what they do. Fantastic at their instruments. Great guys to work with.
You also got some fantastic last names in this band.
I know.
Yeah.
You know.
Except for, I'm just going to Smith. That wasn't that complex.
Yeah, Jordan's got to step it up.
Yeah, Jordan's really good.
She needs a stage name.
No, I'll tell her to change it.
Can you pronounce those last names really quick? It's a lightning round.
Yeah, Canupus, Wachter,
yours.
Velasco, Smith, and Gentile. And completely honest, the last one might be saying it wrong. The last one. I'm going to be totally on the table.
Dude,
And I apologize, Louis, if I am.
Dude, he's crushed.
Yeah.
He's out of the band. All right. I'm sorry to find out this way.
On that note,
Thank you so much for coming on, Steven.
Thank you so much for
blast.
having me.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for playing good music. And everyone, thanks for watching and listening to the podcast. Signing out live at WXLV. Thanks so much.
Speaking of good music, intro and outro music by Mungo on Spotify.
Mungo.
Mungo.
Got him.
Check him out.